Lanterns was always going to be a woke disaster. I don't like using that word woke. I'm not right wing. I'm not a Trump supporter. Let's be clear about that. But using the word woke is the only way I can simplify what this Lanterns television show is going to be. I am Mick, your host with the most. Your girlfriends and your wives are going to find me very attractive. Deal with it, take care of business, or I will, lads. Simple as that. You can follow me on X Twitter at Movies TV Mad. And you can follow me on Snapchat, BMouth60. You can follow me on TikTok, Mad Mickey's World. And you can follow me on Instagram and Threads at Movies TV Mad X. A very warm welcome to Wednesday's edition of the dceu Daily. Yes, Chris Monday, the showrunner of Lanterns, and Aaron Pierre have been doing some talking about Lanterns. I never had much hope for this TV show, considering that Lindelof and is it Tom King who's involved with this? It's basically the same people who have worked on the Watchmen TV show. Damon Lindelof did some outstanding work with Lost, even though his on location, his set was full of, such a toxic environment. He did do a great job on Lost. But Watchmen was an absolute disaster. It was all about, extremism and white racism. And we're going to get this again. Let's just read all the quotes that Chris Monday has made about Lanterns. Chris Monday, Lanterns showrunner on Aaron Pierre's Jon Stewart. Our show is in a lot of ways about replacement. Let's stop there. What do you mean? I'll tell you what they mean. Basically, Jon Stewart, as we all knew from the beginning when we knew who was playing the older white dude, Hal Jordan, right? We knew what was going to happen. The white dude would be problematic and toxic and shouty and hard to get on with, and the black dude, Jon Stewart, would be perfect. Perfect personality, good guy, and basically the white guy would refuse to be replaced by the black guy. This is all they care about. They never fucking learn. Anyway, when should someone step aside? Of course, the old white dude is very toxic for not wanting to step aside for the young black dude. So, and when is it time for the next person to take the reins? Nobody wants this, Chris, right? Green Lantern fans are pissed off that you feel that Hal Jordan needs replacing. Hal Jordan should be part of the Green Lantern Corps, no matter how old he is. But they've skipped so many years, it's outrageous. I mean, you could have had Ryan Reynolds play this older Hal Jordan, but Reynolds wouldn't have gone for it. I mean, he's kind of embarrassed, with his role of Green Lantern. Personally, I liked a lot of things about the Green Lantern movie, and I think a sequel could have fixed any problems that the first movie had. But anyway, I had the same opinion about Superman Returns. I had the same opinion with Man of Steel. But they get scared of criticism and run away from it. And that's it. It's all about money. If it doesn't make enough money, if people hate something, that's the end. And that's the problem with Hollywood. Anyway. When is it time for the next person to take the reins? That push and pull between those two characters is really important, yeah. We know what was going to happen here. So much of the power that John has is by not taking the bait. Yeah, you see? John, the young black dude, is not taking the bait from the angry white dude. Read between the lines, everyone. This is not going to be an epic, interesting Green Lantern show. This is about race baiting, as it all is. As I say, they never learn. Anyway. Yeah, it's by not taking the bait. Understanding that you lose your power if you're yelling and screaming. Yeah, the nice black dude isn't going to yell and scream, but the old angry white dude is. Anyway, that's what we're trying to convey. I bet you fucking are. He knows he belongs, so he doesn't have to overcompensate. There's a real balance there that's just innately inside of Aaron. He's big, he's an intimidating presence just physically, but there's a softness to him too. There's a thoughtfulness. You can't teach that. And what's interesting, within all these quotes, he never says anything possible about the old white guy, Hal Jordan. How easy these fuckers are to expose, to be exposed. They're so easy to expose, basically, yeah? Chris Monday on did Aaron Pierre and Carl Chandler do any research on the Atlantis comic history? You're going to get the usual explanation. Everybody did varying degrees of comic book homework on their own. Basically, they weren't encouraged to. If you wanted to do it, you did it. And we're including co-creators Lindelof and Tom King. We're there to answer any questions, but we aren't telling one specific chapter that's already existed. Of course you haven't in the comics. Our characters are true to the comics, but we're putting them in a new story. So the actors didn't have to dig into a specific period in the comic books. It was more about understanding who John is and understanding who Hal is, an angry white dude. That's how you see Hal Jordan, isn't it, my friend? Anyway, Chris Monday on Hal and John's dynamic in The Lanterns. We wanted it to be as much of a buddy cop show as a superhero show. Well, they're not going to be buddies, are they? Carl's character has kind of a throwback Chuck Yeager vibe to him. He's the kind of guy who you meet and you don't know whether you like him or you want to punch him. Yeah, so the old angry white dude is punchable, but the young black dude is perfect in character, morals and personality. You can see where we're going here and you'll want to punch him. Then there's Aaron, who has a quiet authority about him, and I think that's important to their dynamic. See what? It's not me putting words in this geezer's mouth. You can read the propaganda. You can read the race baiting yourself. It's here. And I think that's important to their dynamic, to the story we're telling. And literally from day one, Carl started giving Aaron shit for being young and inexperienced. So he's even trying to gaslight the old white actor for, giving the younger black dude shit for being inexperienced. And then Aaron started giving Carl shit for being an old man. See? I'm not making it up, am I? You'd see it in between takes too. They'd start messing with each other and would just keep sitting there playing with that dynamic in the best way. And because all of the dialogue is supposed to be in a very back and forth style, they were into that rhythm before they even got into those scenes. It's a tricky role. I think this is from Aaron Pierre now, who's playing John Stewart, because there's a physicality to believing that someone is a superhero. And then there's a physicality to the character of John Stewart. He was a Marine sniper, which requires a certain kind of focus and diligence. After the Marines, he becomes an architect. So there's an artistic side to him. Those are a lot of elements that an actor has to be able to project. And Aaron is someone who understands that physicality as a trained theatre actor. We talked a lot about that. How being a Marine is John's job, but it's not his entire personality. He's as much as an artist as he is a Marine. There's a real balance of the physical and the artistic. That's just innately inside of Aaron. And I think it's essential. If we are doing our jobs well as writers, we're not stating all this stuff out loud. We're trusting that our actors can fulfill that role. The audience has to believe that he could take a guy down with one punch. Also believe that he could sketch intricate portraits of his family and birds and all these beautiful things. So you see, this is a John Stewart vehicle, not a Hal Jordan one. And you see what they're trying to say. He's not just a brutish black guy. He's also artistic and intelligent. You see what they're doing here? It's all about race. It's not about Green Lantern. It's not about empowering the entertainment model, about Green Lantern, the Green Lantern Corps. It's not about that. It's about their extremism and propaganda, right? That's the problem here. We're not the racists. They are. And they're the quotes. So they're very problematic quotes. They're not surprising, shocking quotes to me, everyone. This is why they wanted to make a Lanterns HBO show and not a movie, to explore the relationship between a young, vibrant black dude who's going to replace an old, angry, punchable white dude. I'm not making this up. It's there in fucking black and white. Let me take you back to 1986, 1987. There's a little film called Lethal Weapon. It's with a young white cop played by Mel Gibson, you know this, and an older cop in his 50s about to retire, played by Danny Glover, called Roger Murtaugh. So basically the idea is that Roger's worked really hard as a cop. He's a great cop, but he's in his 50s. He wants to take early retirement because he's worried about being killed on duty. He's done his duty, he's saved his money, he lives in a lovely white house, and they swap the kind of roles around. The black guy isn't angry, he's settled, he's got children, he's got a lovely wife, he's got the good life, but the young white guy went to Vietnam. He lost his wife, and he's suicidal. So they swapped the roles a little bit, but it's very interesting. And by the end of the movie, Roger Murtaugh isn't replaced by the young guy. He decides not to retire, and they become friends. And Mel Gibson's, character ends up being part of this African American family. So it's very positive messaging back in the racist 80s. That's amazing to me. It's entertaining, but this is not what they're trying to do or convey in Lanterns. This is part of their race baiting and their white racism. It's as simple as that. I always knew this was what this show was going to be, and this is why James Gunn and his minions are a fucking problem. They're not trying to uplift the entertainment model. They're not trying to uplift the DCU. That's why that James Gunn should already be fired by David Zaslav. He shouldn't have to wait for the new owners of Warner Brothers Discovery to do it. There's now rumours and reports stating that if David Ellison and Paramount Blue Sky buy Warner Brothers Discovery, that Gunn will remain in his role. That doesn't surprise me, considering this dumbass Ellison, the same guy who allowed Tyler Sheridan, the genius creative, to move over to Universal. Doesn't surprise me. And wants David Zaslav to have a co-CEO role when he goes over to Paramount Blue Sky, if it actually happens. So we don't want Paramount getting WB, do we now? But going back to Lanterns, yeah, I'm not going to be watching this shit. Everyone's going to be talking about it. It's going to be on, right-wing YouTubers are going to expose it. They'll do my job for me. I won't. Look, I will talk about it because I talk about DC. That's the fabric of my channel mostly. But I've read it to you. It's going to be a problem. It's not going to be an exciting Green Lantern story. It's not going to be an exciting Green Lantern show. It's going to be a gritty, grounded, boring HBO show. It's not going to be about the cosmic adventures. It's not going to be about the Guardians. It's not going to be about Evarr, right? It's not going to be about none of that shit. Even the description of the characters bored me to fucking tears. Even when they talk about, John Stewart being an artist and a sniper and all of that, I don't care. I care about an awesome, epic Green Lantern story, and that's not what DC fans are going to get. Lanterns fans, as I've already mentioned, are so pissed off that it's going to be Earth-based, that this is obviously an older Hal Jordan that needs replacing. The whole thing is going to be an absolute fucking disaster. They should have made an expensive Green Lantern Corps movie, but they probably haven't got the money to make an expensive Green Lantern movie. So instead, they're going to make a cheap and gritty and grounded HBO show. And this is why the DCU is not being spoken about. Nobody's excited. That's why the DCU is already cancelled.